how's it going, and welcome to Whiskey Whims with me, Stuart. Before I get into this video, we've been discussing between a few friends and that about reviewing samples, and I've kind of came to the conclusion that you can't really get or gauge a whiskey from just a sample. Usually it takes a bottle, and I like to review my whiskies maybe halfway down a bottle, because I think sometimes you don't get the full picture with samples, and it doesn't really reflect the true nature of the whiskey. Because I mean, I had the Enoch 18 sample, absolutely loved it, bought the bottle and was kind of disappointed by the bottle. So I wonder if that's a case of where the sample was drawn from or whatever. But anyway, with that in mind and with the word hypocrisy in mind, I'm going to be reviewing some samples. So I was given some samples by Phil at Causeway Coast Whiskey Reviews. Always get that name so wrong. I'm sure it's not Causeway, it's Causeway Coast Whiskey Reviews. It's so much. Why do you need to have such a big name? Anyway, Phil has a blog and he also writes for Malt. So yeah, check him out, check his blog out, check his Instagram out. He definitely speaks his mind, and always quite honest reviews you'll get from him. So yeah, what has he sent me? He sent me some samples from Waterford, which is an Irish distillery. Yeah, I mean, I don't know too much about Waterford. They're pretty new. I think they've been around for just about 4 years. I think 2016 is when they first started maybe producing whiskey. Sorry, the dog's just doing a tour of the table. And I think their key concept is provenance. So they want to, from start to finish, you'll be able to trace where the whiskey came from, the barley, the farm, the soil, the water, the yeast, everything, casks. You can go on their site, they've got these little codes, terroir codes, and you put it in the site and it gives you a breakdown of almost everything. So you get like the cask composition, the wood composition, you get the type of soil that's used, the composition of the soil, and all these kind of weird and wonderful things. So I thought I would try and have a little look on, since I've got a spare phone here and a phone recording, and pretty much show you or try and describe what's on the website. I was going to try and write it down, but there's a lot of information there. So provenance, the goal of this precision provenance with total traceability is to provide us with an unparalleled library of maturing, in essence, single malt whiskey as each farm's barley is distilled, one per week throughout the year. So with regards to, let's go for Bannow Island. Let's see it here. So Bannow Island, it literally, I kind of wish I could show it on a screen, but I've not got the green screen. So the Bannow Island's maturation's 3 years, 7 months, 27 days. There's 8,616 bottles, and it goes through things like, they've even got a SoundCloud of the sound of the farm, which is, it's a lot of information. So it tells you about the barley. It was sown on the 23rd of March, it was harvested the 7th of September, all this, the marriage of the casks, the scent for bottling dates. It shows you the maps, or Google Maps, of where the field is, where the farm is, the soil, series, clashmore type, brown earth, description, coarse loamy drift with, it's a lot of information. Whether it's necessary or whether it's just too much, I'm not sure. It's a bit of an overload of information, but it's pretty good. Production water, volcanic aquifer, fermentation, 136.2 hours. It's transparent, it's showing you a lot of good things. So it's quite interesting that a distillery is doing this, taking this approach and giving us this comprehensive breakdown of how the whiskey is brought to us and how it's presented to us. So yeah, it's quite nice. But what we're really here for is the whiskey, and does it taste good, does it smell good, does it hit the spot? So these are all roughly 3 year old. Some are about 3 years, like I said, 11 months. None of them are over the 3 year mark. I just checked my notes. No, 3 years 9 months, 3 years 7 months, and the oldest one's the 3 years 11 month, which is the Ballykilcavan. Anyway, these are all 1.1s. which are the first editions. They're all 50% ABV, and they're all around the £70, £75 mark when they came out. So what we'll do is we'll just get down to nosing them, the palate, and yeah, the finish, and we'll see if any of them hit the mark, if any of them are a win, if any of them are a bin. But hopefully I'll go through them quite quick because there are 4 samples, and I usually like trying to keep my videos quite short. So we'll start with Waterford, Bannow Island, 1.1, 50% ABV. Yeah, the nose kind of dried rose petals, a little bit barley, a little bit alcoholic on the nose, quite spirity. Yeah, it's a little, even though it's 50% ABV, it's a little alcoholic, quite spirity on the nose, quite spirity driven. You can tell it's young. There's like citrus elements there, acidic elements, some dried rose petals, possibly creamy. But yeah, I feel that it's quite harsh on the nose. Although, no, there is definitely an alcoholic kind of nip to the nose. I was thinking maybe it was soft, but it is a little soft flavour wise or scent wise. But yeah, a little bit of a nip on the nose. The palate, yeah, the palate's quite volatile, or maybe not volatile, but maybe vibrant. Quite it's very alcoholic. It's not a typical Irish whiskey. These are all Irish. It doesn't seem, for me, typically Irish. It's more. It smells and tastes. Maybe I'm just way off. Maybe I've had something bad to eat this morning, but it just tastes a bit cheap. Let's see. Yeah, it's very young. Some chocolate there maybe. It's a bit drying, coats the mouth. A little bit of caramel. But yeah, overall the finish as well. The finish is woody, very spirit driven, rather alcoholic, with big alcoholic presence, even though it is 50% ABV. I don't think that's not necessarily high for my palate. It's high for some people's palates, but it's not that. Yeah, it just seems cheap. It seems like a cheap whiskey. I just need to grab my water to cleanse my palate. Yeah, possibly nutty on the finish, nutty and kind of cereal, barley again. It's very not organic, but you can tell it's kind of, I don't know what what I'm trying to describe here. I'm trying to get this point across, but you can kind of tell that it's what they're going for. I've not really described this very well at all, but you can see what they're aiming for. But for me, it just doesn't really hit the mark. It just, like I said, it tastes a little cheap. Maybe just a little young. Maybe it needs more time. It's getting better. I'm going to keep trying these and see how they go on, because they have a good 50ml sample, so I've got time to play with it, add water and stuff. But for the review, I'll just get straight into it. I'm not really enjoying that. That's a whiskey bin for me. It's a little spirity, a little alcoholic, a little off-putting. Flavours are there, but they're dominated by the alcoholic presence. Next, I'm going to go for the organic one. So there's an organic whiskey here, Waterford Gaia, I believe it's pronounced Gaia, 1.1 again, and you get all the details online with the terroir code. So this is a little bit better on the nose already. There's a mintiness, maybe some orange, milled barley. Yeah, I prefer this on the nose, a little bit kind of fizzy. Caramel, salted caramel, creamy. It's a little sweeter than the Bannow Island. This is a bit more kind of woody. The palate is oily on the palate. There's a pepper, spices flavour. Once again, a lot of spirit, a lot of alcohol on the palate there. Yeah, cloves. Like I said, kind of dried spice. I think they're all bourbon. I'd need to check the notes again, but I'm pretty sure they're all bourbon. Maybe in fact they're actually a mix of casks. Now that I remember, they're like bourbon. Some have got wine influence. Some have got, I believe, sherry influence. But let me just see. What's this? This is Gaia. Yeah, so this has got first fill, bourbon, virgin, premium French, and vin du naturel, which is a port. So it's got port, Madeira, and French. Yeah, port Madeira. Yeah, so it's all a different kind of array of casks. Do they tie well together? Do they come well together? Possibly not. This is better on the nose than that one, but it's still very alcoholic. Don't know what to do with my hands. I've become Italian all of a sudden. So, there was butterscotch there on the palate. This one's opening up, becoming a lot better. Definitely prefer that to this one. Still quite spirit driven. The finish, a little bit short, a little creamy, and wood, a little woody. I'm just trying to rattle through these. These aren't exactly extensive reviews, well descriptive reviews, but I'm just trying to get through them so that I don't take too much time up. We'll go to the next one, which is Ratheadan 1.1. So Ratheadan 1.1. No alcohol burn whatsoever, which is good. Straight on the nose, I can just take that right in. No nip, no prick. However, it's very soft, very subtle. Barley again. See, that's not nice. That's nice. Yeah, very soft. Kind of maybe orange again. Yeah, barley. It's very. They're all quite. Although there is a distinct. Although you can distinguish the differences between them, they are very similar. I know obviously they all hail from the same distillery. They're different farms, different barley and stuff, but they're all very quite similar, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, you want a distillery to have a sense of character, a sense of character. You want to know roughly when you're smelling a whiskey, that's from that distillery. But these do have that. I'm not sure if there is anything characteristically defining about this distillery so far. The palate for this one, like on the nose, all I can get is barley, kind of malted loaf. Yeah, the for 3-year-old, these are non-age statements. Technically, they don't actually have an age on them. You can get that information. £70, RRP £75. Once again, very alcoholic, very spirit. The ABV is so evident. It's not. I don't think I'm enjoying them. I wanted to go into this being sort of not blown away, but I was expecting better things, because I've seen Waterford selling for such a high price, and what they're doing sounds great. The whole provenance thing, being able to trace everything, giving us all that transparency is absolutely brilliant. But these are all very spirit driven whiskies, very alcoholic, and quite harsh. We'll try this again on the palate. There is a creaminess now that I've kind of washed the whiskey away with the water. I'm getting like a creaminess. Malted loaf again, bread, barley, milled butter. They're all quite similar. There are differences, but they're all quite similar taste profiles. Maybe orange again, zest. You can tell it's young. Every single one, you can tell these are young whiskies. There's nothing outstanding about or unbelievable about them being that young. It's not like other whiskies, say like, for example, Kilkerran at 3-year-old. You might think that's an older whiskey because it's quite well done. Same with possibly, I don't know, other young whiskies, but this is just a bit harsh. Orange again on the finish and oily. That's all I'm really getting from it. Yeah, I don't like doing these type of reviews. I don't like being negative, but not for me. So far, the organic's been the standout one. This one's not been too bad. This one I would never touch. Bannow Island, I just did not enjoy that. So we've got Ballykilcavan 1.1 50% ABV. So yeah, we'll just get the casks on this one. So we've got US first fill again, premium French, Vin Doux Naturel, and yeah, that's it. So no virgin oak this time, but different or similar casks to the others. So they've obviously been different barley, different farms, but they've all got quite similar maturation similarities. So possibly that's why they taste quite similar, because they do say that the wood makes up 80% of the flavour. Whether that's true or not, I'm not sure. I think a lot's to do with the distillation, fermentation, but obviously the wood has got a big impact on it. So yeah, Ballykilcavan or Ballykilcavan, however you say it. This is a lot more fruitier on the nose. I'm not sure if it's because I've made my way down and this is the last one that I'm maybe getting a little bit jolly and starting to enjoy them a bit more. But what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pour a little bit in each again and give them another benefit of doubt. Kind of like red fruits, berries and things like that. Still nippy on the nose, still alcoholic on the nose though. Maybe some tobacco leaf or something like that. Cranberry, for sure, dried cranberry. But yeah, still that kind of prick on the nose. The palate, yeah, not as harsh as the others, but it's still there. The ABV is still there. It's still quite evident. There's possibly, I don't know, but there's possibly just when you need to get past the ABV. There's possibly banana loaf. Yeah, let's go with banana loaf. It's still quite. It's just very. Yeah, it's very spirity. Very. burny. They're all very... I wouldn't want to give these to someone new to whiskey because I think it would put them off whiskey, quite frankly. Are they bad? I don't really want to say that they're bad, but they seem like cheap whiskies. They seem like... I don't really think they're Irish. They seem like, if it's a compliment, if this is a compliment, they seem like cheap Scotch. Irish whiskey, I feel, is a lot more refined, a lot softer, and that's why I'm not particularly fond of Irish whiskey. I do like a bit of a hit, but that hit has to come with flavour, it has to come with a profile. These have the flavours there, but it's all just the hit, the punch of the ABV. The flavours aren't really compensating. The ABV is overthrown, whereas when you get a good cask strength whiskey and the flavours are there, the flavours almost overwhelm you, so you don't notice the ABV. Because the flavours are so strong, that's what your mind's set on. Whereas with this, the flavours for me are quite subtle, they're quite subdued. That barley, the grist, the malted loaf, there's nothing to take your mind off the ABV. There needs to be some sort of defining, maybe sherry. Sherry does a load of work. I'm no expert in distilling. The guy that runs the place has been like Bannow Island, I think it was, or Bruichladdich, whatever one. He's obviously had a lot more years experience. In fact, he's well more experienced than me. But I'm not trying to say all I think is maybe something just needs to carry this. It just seems that it's not got there yet. Whether it's age, whether it's cask selection, and I'm not a fan of using sherry to push a whiskey, but this might just be what it needs. Maybe a little bit of sherry or red wine or something, a strong red wine, because the flavours are too soft for the ABV. That's all. That's in my opinion and what I think. So even the whiskey's trying to escape my mouth. Yeah. No. So I'm going to pour a little bit more and just see if I can get anything else. I had left these have been sitting for 15 minutes, 20 minutes to open up. So I have given it some time. I've not explored them previously. These are the first pours. So I've not taken any previous notes other than the notes about age, ABV and price. So I've not actually spent time taking notes with these, which I probably will tonight. With the rest of the samples, I am going to sit down and maybe try these and take some more notes, see if anything else comes. But yeah, I'm going to have a quick taste of these again. I know you should take your time with whiskey, but it must just be... There's not much difference in them two. If I was to muddle them up, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one's which. There's a little bit of difference in that. There's maybe a little bit more fragrant, aromatic on the nose. In fact, no, is this all just the same whiskey? No, this one's red berries. This one's got red berries. Maybe honey in that now. No, these are all like pretty much just the same whiskey, it seems. Right, well I've gone quite mad and I think I've had enough. Hopefully this video doesn't come across like me being a complete tool, but it probably will. But these are just not enjoyable. The bottles are nice to look at. It's just, they're too, yeah, I've already said it, they're too much alcohol for me. Yeah, that's not nice. I thought maybe blending it might do something. I think what I might do is add some sherry to them. Not even, yeah, I don't want to say any more. Like I said, I don't like doing negative reviews. I didn't expect to go into this doing it negative. I didn't expect it to be negative. My first time trying it. I've tried to be as honest. I don't like to lie. I don't like to say something's good just for the sake of saying it's good. But for me, these are all whiskey bins. Maybe the Ballykilcavan with more time, with me having more time with it, could be a whiskey win if I explored it a bit longer, a bit more in depth. But currently, going through them the way I have, I would never buy any of these again. I wouldn't recommend them, and I don't think they're worth £75 or whatever the secondary markets are paying now. They're just like cheap Scotch, unfortunately. They're all quite harsh, young. That's all it is. It's a cheap Scotch. If you're to blend these together, put some water in at 46%, that's what you get. You get a cheap Scotch. So sorry for the terrible bad review. I really do hate doing bad reviews, but there you go. That's what it is. So thanks for watching. I've been Stuart. This has been Whiskey Wims. I'll see you later.